Oh, it's been a while. It's been a while. I've been on vacation, having a great time over in the Far East, in Korea, in Thailand, in Japan. It was great. I got treated very, very well. Very, very grateful for the trip. Me and my girlfriend had a good time. But I'm back, and I've been on top of everything right here, back in the States. You can't help but not know what's going on, especially with social media. I don't think there's really a bad time to talk about the trade still between Myles Garrett going from Cleveland to the Rams in exchange for Jared Verse and some draft picks. Honestly, I didn't think the Browns got enough. I said that from the moment. In fact, I was on a Cleveland radio station in Bangkok. I was stuck in traffic in a taxi, and I'm on a station in Cleveland, and they're asking me about the trade, and I'm like, they didn't get enough. And they're like, what? I'm like, you got the best defensive player. Like, I played with Reggie White. He was the best defensive player in the league. I played against Bruce Smith. He was the best. They were the best players in the league. I just think if you're trading the best quarterback, if you're trading Lamar or you're trading Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen, you're trading one of these superstar quarterbacks, you're getting a whole lot more for that quarterback than you are Myles Garrett. I thought to give up what they gave up. Now, Jared Verse is a very good young player, very good. If he wasn't playing on the Rams the last couple seasons, he'd have a whole lot more than the sack total that he has. But Kobe Turner, Byron Young, all these guys are eating, and so Jared Verse is doing a lot of the damage, though. Cleveland got a very good player. In fact, he came to Cleveland, and Dylan Gabriel was wearing number 8, and he basically just told the equipment people, I'm wearing 8. He didn't even consult with Dylan Gabriel. He just took the number. But that's kind of what he is. But you think about this now. Before the trade, the Rams were the prohibitive. I don't care what market you look at, what betting market you looked at. The Rams were the prohibitive favorites. They're returning the league MVP in Matt Stafford. They made the trade for Trent McDuffie and Jalen Watson. They fortified the corner position. They've just done one good thing after another. And then they add Myles Garrett. Like, I don't know of a team. I don't have this stat off the top of my head, but I don't know of another team that ever had the reigning MVP of the league and the reigning defensive player of the year on the same team. That's what the Rams have. Now, you marry Myles Garrett along with Kobe and Byron and all the guys they have, right, on that defensive line of the Rams. And I'm just mentioning 2 others, but there's 5 other guys that can rush the passer. And then you add 2 corners that can lock up. That was the problem with the Rams last year. When they got to the NFC Championship game against Seattle, they had no answer for Sam Darnold, Jackson Smith, and Jigba. They've got answers now. And for Cleveland, look, they're doing it through the draft. They're doing it smartly. And I give Andrew Berry a lot of credit. We'll see. They still need the quarterback situation to get figured out. Because if they don't, then it doesn't really matter what else they do. But they had a very good draft last year. They seemingly had a very good draft this year. You add a 24-year-old Jared Verse, who basically has been healthy and played every game. And, I've talked to the kid. He's what you want on the defensive line. So they don't have Myles anymore, but Jared Verse is a good player. New way of doing things with Jim Schwartz gone. I think the trade benefited both teams, but I just think the Browns could have gotten more. All right, now, the news of the day. Brendan Sorsby, the talented quarterback who's played 3 years of college football and was all set to go play another year at Texas Tech, has been shunned by the Big 12. Not going to be able to play at Tech. They had a court ruling which allowed him an injunction, allowed him to go play in all of the opponents of Texas Tech, including a lot of the big schools. So we're not playing him. We're not playing a guy against a guy that's gambling on his own team. And that's what Brendan Sorsby did. Now, I know college football is a wild, wild west, but gambling on your own team, like, whoever thought that could be a passable offense? I know college football is a mess, and what the NIL is doing to and all that stuff. But you can't be out there gambling on your team. I mean, this is Pete Rose type stuff. You can't gamble on your own team and other teams over $90,000 and be expected to play. So then, after he gets shunned by Texas Tech in college football for the most part, and I think he's 25 years old, trying to play a 6th year, but he's been a 3-year starter, and he's a good player. But he thought he could come into the supplemental draft. Now, they don't always have a supplemental draft. Some years they do when there's a great player out there. The league shut their door on a supplemental draft. You remember the Dallas Cowboys took Steve Walsh out of the University of Miami. Jimmy Johnson took him after they drafted Troy Aikman, in 1989, 1990, the supplemental draft. They took Steve Walsh. Troy Aikman pitched a fit. He was beside himself. But Jimmy Johnson had a plan. He knew, because he coached Steve Walsh at Miami, he knew he could get a boat's ransom for him. And that's what he did. Now, that's maybe the most popular, famous player in the history of the supplemental draft. I'm sure there's other guys out there, that I could look up and I could find, but I'm not doing the research on it. So Brendan Sorsby. So the question was, if they did allow him to enter the supplemental draft, would any of the teams out there, any of the 32 teams, use the number 1 draft pick on him? That was the question, because there was thoughts that with that position and with his talent, teams would spend a 1st-round pick. Never going to know now. A lot of, the outside forces that really look at this stuff heavily thought people would throw a 2nd-round pick at him, but we're never going to know now. He's sitting out there, and he's just taking a redshirt year. He'll enter the draft next year, and he'll have all kinds of time to work out. He has a lot of game tape. He's got over 30 college starts, 2 different programs. I'm sure he'll go to the combine, but he'll have a long time to sit back and watch and try to figure this stuff out. It's unfortunate, people got to, players got to play. He's healthy, but he did this to himself. I don't feel sorry for Brendan Sorsby. I think he's an idiot, personally, like just an idiot. And I'm glad he got caught, and I'm glad the NFL is taking the stance on him. There's no place for players gambling in sports. There's just none. I work for the NFL, work for the ESPN. I might go play a couple hands of blackjack, might put $1 in a slot machine, but I'm not in any sports book. When the Super Bowl was in Las Vegas, I wasn't hanging out in any casinos. I understand the conflict of interest completely. All right. But I've never bet on a game, any sport, ever. I've been part of the NFL machine since 1982 when I came in and started playing with the Dallas Cowboys. I've never bet on a game. College, pro, Final Four, I don't do it. And no player should. That'd be my message to anybody. The risk of so he got caught. He's got to pay the penalty. We'll see what happens next year. Okay. In Atlanta yesterday, Kyle Pitts just signed a $54 million extension. Kyle Pitts was the 4th player in the draft. He's from Philadelphia. We all know who he was. University of Florida. I think he was the 4th pick in the draft. Had a really good rookie season. And then he got hurt. And he kind of fell off the map and was unused. Arthur Jones had him in Atlanta. They had him last year. With Drake London's injury last year, he stepped up. And he looked like a player that was, a top 50 player in the league and a top flight tight end last year. He's enormous. He's 6'5", 6'6". He's 260 pounds. He runs well. But the Falcons are making him part. Kevin Stefanski and his new regime now looking to make Kyle Pitts, Drake London, whoever wins the quarterback battle right now, a pretty good offensive line. They're putting pieces in place to go compete right now. Matt Ryan head of football operations right now with the Falcons, understands the value of a great tight end and what that can do for a quarterback. So the Falcons are kind of digging in right now, and they're basically announcing these are our pillars that we're building our team around. So congratulations to Kyle Pitts. He needed that year last year. He needed a really good, productive season, healthy. They won their last 4 games last year. He was a big part of it. I was out at training camp last year, Flowery Branch, and I was out there for 2 practices. And honestly, when I watched practice, it seemed like every ball went to Drake London. Like, he was unstoppable in practice. I don't care who was covering. That's where the ball was going. But Kyle Pitts, not so much. But, with the injury to Drake last year, Pitts stepped up. Okay. For all teams, today is Wednesday, the 23rd. All teams, beginning last Thursday, finished their off-season training academies, their off-season programs. And so the season starts a week later this year. All right. And so really, Carolina, who's, in the Hall of Fame game this year, Luke Kuechly going into the Hall of Fame. Carolina's playing the Hall of Fame game. I think they start practice like July 31st, and they play that game like August 5th or 6th in Canton, Ohio. Hopefully I'll be there for that. But right now it's a 5-week period for all these teams, coaches, players, just to get away. They've had an all seasons. April, there were 10 coaching changes this year. So 10 teams this year with the new coaches were able to have an extra, week of mini camps, OTAs. So all teams are finished right now. There's basically today's June 23rd. Basically, all teams have 5 weeks off until they have to get ready. So it's time just to kind of rest and sort of recharge, vacations, all that kind of stuff. Every coach, honestly, in the league, every general manager in the league is holding their breath so that players don't get into trouble. Free time, a lot of money, back home, amongst friends, young, they can do dumb things. They're just holding their breath that one of their players doesn't do something dumb where they end up getting suspended or getting caught in the crosshairs. The messages have been delivered. The speeches have been made in every single team facility before they leave. You find out how mature some of your players and some of your teams are during this 5-week stretch. For me, as a worker for the league, I hope there isn't one single incident. I hope there's not one. I hope the players behave themselves. Hope they have a great time. Enjoy the hell out of themselves. It's 5 weeks. It's summer. I'm down in South Florida. It's hot as hell. I hope players have a good time, behave themselves. All right. Last thing here is I don't know if y'all are catching World Cup fever. I have. In fact, I'm heading down to Hard Rock today for Scotland and Brazil. Both armies, the Brazilian army, the Scottish army, they're down in South Florida for the last 2 or 3 days, taking over the city. It's been fantastic. But honestly, I feel like there is a real natural tie-in between what's happening right now in the World Cup, kind of filling this void that we all had before the start of the NFL season, and the NFL. I've been to 4 or 5 World Cups. I went to World Cup in Italy in 1990. I went to World Cup in France in 1998. In fact, I saw Brazil and Norway play in Marseille, France. I've been to Germany in 2002. I've been to Brazil in 2014. I've been to at least 4 World Cups. If I go to this game here today, it'd be 5. And it is really something for everyone. But I think the tie-in is the stars of this World Cup have shown up. They've shown up and they've showed out. I mean, Messi's got 5 goals. Ronaldo had 2 in Portugal's win yesterday, the day before. Mbappe has been unstoppable, right? And so you look at, the stars, and those are just 3. There's plenty of others as well. Obviously, we'll see the United States play, I think, Turkey on Thursday or Friday. We'll see they played very, very well. But when your stars perform, the audience gravitates. It's like when Lamar and Josh Allen are on the field. Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes are on the field. Mahomes and Matt Stafford are on the field. Sam Darnold, Matt Stafford. When the stars are on the field, it makes you watch. And right now, the stars are unbelievable in what they are doing to really elevate this World Cup. And I think the all of the international travelers that have come to watch and experience America and our culture and what we have to offer and our love of sports, like they're seeing it firsthand. Not seeing it through a media, not seeing it through a different lens. They're seeing it in all these different stadiums. You saw in Philadelphia in a 2-hour rain delay, at Lincoln Financial Field. It was an unbelievable day. Iraq and, France and that game. We'll see it in South Florida. We've seen it in Houston. We saw it in Toronto yesterday. We're seeing it in Seattle. We've seen it at the Meadowlands. It's phenomenal. You saw what happened in Kansas City the other day. Every stadium is sold out. It looks like playoff football to me. So I'm all about it. All about it. I hope you all are enjoying the World Cup. It's a special time. Like I said, I've been overseas to go visit some of these. My last one, Brazil in 2014, was awesome. Just awesome. Maracanã Stadium, I saw France and Colombia play. It was just special. Hope to find a couple passes to get into Brazil and Scotland tonight. But if I don't, we'll watch it on some TV somewhere. It's all right. But we'll be back here to talk about the upcoming season, the World Cup, any news that breaks, and really kind of looking at the divisions, I think, between now and the start of the season. So thanks for joining me, everybody. Look forward to talking to you. Enjoy those World Cup matches. They're special. I'm glued. I think you are too. All right, everybody. This has been the Best Football Show. Come find us by downloading a free Odyssey app, finding the Best Football Show, liking us, subscribing to us, following me and my World Cup breakdowns at Baldy NFL across all the social media platforms.